Welcome to the 5G podcast.
We're glad you're here.
We hope you enjoy our conversation about God, guns, games, goals, and gastronomy.
Now sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode.
Let's talk about gay. Wait, what? Huh?
Another video games.
Games, yeah, sorry, games. With the homies.
The Olympic Games are over by the time you're watching this episode. Woo.
Probably.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Another year, another Olympics. Okay, anyway. I'm fine.
Yeah, I don't know.
There was breakdancing, I think was airing yesterday.
Did you see all the memes?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That was pretty interesting. First and last time at the Olympics, I think.
We'll see. Yikes. Yeah, that was pretty abysmal.
Yeah, for their debut performance. Like,
I've watched like some breakdance videos on Instagram or whatever, and it's
Sure.
like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then the Olympics was like, yeah, we can throw ourselves on the floor like a dying fish.
It was very, I don't know what they were graded on. Maybe the Olympics had different judging.
I have no clue.
Yeah.
I wonder if people just didn't know that they were doing Olympic trials before breakdancing,
Oh, sure, yeah.
and then just like the good breakdancers in every country just didn't know.
Didn't show up, yeah.
So, I don't know. Anyway,
I was watching some ping pong yesterday. That was actually pretty fun. I was watching the finals.
I forgot ping pong was...
Went to a restaurant and they had it airing there anyway. It was at like a sports bar.
Yeah.
The Olympics on, so it was ping pong. Final match of China, obviously.
Classic.
Versus Sweden. And it was pretty
That
good.
tracks!
They had the arms. Like they were tall, they were lanky. So
You don't need like power in that. You just
No.
need speed. I
China
suppose.
won, but
Well, that makes sense.
yeah, they've been training since they were 4 years old, so that's
True.
it was pretty cool though.
Yeah.
They're doing the jump shots, man, no joke.
That's funny.
Yeah, like it jumped up and he like slammed
What is
it down.
what is the speed that the ball comes off, the ping comes off the pong?
The ping pong? Yeah, I don't know. It's got to be fast though,
It's got to be screaming.
because some of their reaction times are like insane.
Speaking of sporting events,
Mhm.
this is not on our agenda, but it was amazing. Last night,
Mhm.
Ryan and I went to the Diamondbacks Phillies game.
Oh yeah.
Diamondbacks won. Entering the ninth inning. Oh, it was such a good game, man.
Dang.
Our pitcher, amazing, doing amazing. He pitched 7.5 innings.
Ooh,
So we
that's
only
hard.
had 2 relievers
Yeah.
come in, which is like really solid. And he was like, honestly, he was still doing decent enough, but he got to like 110-ish pitches, and they were
Yeah.
like, "We're just gonna save your arm, bud. Like,
Yeah.
let
you gotta
someone else."
chill.
You know, he did amazing. Got a standing ovation when he got walked off, and like he was doing stellar.
Wow.
So going into the ninth inning, it was tied 2-2. Our pitcher 3 up, 3 down. So
It's good.
Diamondbacks have to score 1 run to win the game in the bottom of the ninth.
Mhm.
If not, it's going to the 10th inning, right? Because it was tied 2-2.
Yeah.
Rookie, his second MLB game ever, is the first one up to the plate.
Okay.
First pitch that gets thrown, creams the thing home run.
No way.
It was the coolest walk-off home run ever. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. Like,
That's cool.
and we were just sitting there, and it was a really intense game, so it was like really fun. Like, it wasn't like a boring game. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it was like
When is
intense
this
back and
over?
forth. No, it was so stellar. It was such a stellar game, and just rookie Del Castillo. I don't remember his first name, but it's literally his like second game
Jeez.
as the major leaguer,
That's
and
pretty funny.
walk-off home run to win the game, and everyone was just out of their minds going crazy about it.
Yeah.
Like, it was,
Because at that point, you're just, all right.
yeah. He just took a long, nice trot around the
Just
bases
A victory lap. They win. Like, we don't even need to play the rest of the inning.
No.
He's got
No, they
it.
didn't,
Like,
yeah. because there's no reason.
There's no point.
They won. First pitch of the inning,
It's crazy.
or sorry, of the second half of the
We're like,
inning.
oh man,
First pitch to the Diamondbacks, you know, out of a minimum of 9 pitches,
Yep.
right? Probably more than that, but a minimum of 9, and
That's cool,
just deep right field. Like, oh, it was gorgeous.
man. It's a good game.
It was fantastic. It was a fantastic game last night.
Nice.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Anyway, oh, why did I not think of this either? Also met Randy Johnson.
Oh, just there at the stadium.
No, so we use my dad's tickets, right?
Yeah.
And my dad is traveling wherever the freak he's traveling, like Thailand or some bullcrap. I don't
Oh,
know where he is. I honestly don't. Like,
not that he works for the government. Like I can't.
no,
tell you
he
this.
definitely
Like,
doesn't.
No, yeah.
But like, he
you just don't know where he's at.
which happens like frequently. Anyway, so he got invited
Mm-hmm.
to go to like a little like dinner thing before the game, and he was like, "Well, I can't go, but my son's taking my tickets. Can he go?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure." And so we go there, and Randy Johnson was there, and we're like,
Oh,
and there's like, it's not like, oh, there's like 1,000 people here, and Randy Johnson's here. It was like, yeah, there's like 25 people here, and Randy Johnson's one of them. And we were just like,
wow.
All right. So
Eating dinner,
we got 2 balls signed.
dude.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah. I'll have to show them to you.
Did you come prepared, or did he like?
Yeah, we did.
Oh,
so
okay,
we
yeah.
knew that he was potentially going to be there to
Potentially
sign
gonna be
stuff, right? But we thought it was like going to be like 1,000 people. But like,
Yeah.
no, like we sat down on the couch with him and chatted for 5 minutes or whatever, and like got a picture and 2 balls signed, and
That's
like,
cool.
yeah. Anyway,
Nice.
Hall of Famer, double Hall of Famer,
Double. I
because the
forgot about that.
Diamondbacks just
It was last
opened-
year, right? 2 years. ago?
I think they just. So he's a MLB Hall of Famer, but then this year the Diamondbacks did their own Hall of Fame.
Oh, that's why he's a double.
Yeah, it's
At that point, I mean, it's
Yeah.
all just
like if one of your players gets put into the Hall of Fame, do they automatically get put into the Diamondbacks Hall of Fame?
into
Like,
your Hall of Fame.
yeah.
I mean, probably they should, but
And it's like, is Eric Burns going to be put into the Diamondback Hall of Fame? Do you remember him?
I don't think so. No.
It was a little while ago when we were like really young. He was like the hot stuff that the Diamondbacks had. He played for like 3 seasons, and then he kind of just sucked.
Then just
Yeah, he
drifted
it was like,
off into obscurity.
Yeah. Well, like he just like he had like a it's like a $16 million contract for 5 years or something like that.
Dang.
And I think he only played like 2 or 3 of the 5 years.
Oh, okay, so he didn't get the full payout, but
And he did.
oh, really?
Yeah, they have to pay it.
Oh man, but I thought it was guaranteed to pay. Like you only get so much per year. Because I know when they negotiate contracts, sometimes for like I guess basketball is the example I know. They'll say like, yeah, here's your contract. It's this amount of dollars, but we don't just like
No,
give you a
but they
lump sum.
still pay out the contract.
Even if you stop playing, that's not a breach of contract.
No, because it's not your decision to stop playing.
Oh, what, did he get injured or something?
No. He just was sucking.
Oh, okay.
So the Diamondbacks were like, we want to win still,
So
and
kick
so
you to the curb.
yeah, and then they owed him however many millions of dollars per year,
Wow.
like
That's expensive.
$3.2 million.
Because then you have to pay the new guy as well
Mm-hmm.
to replace him, but you're still paying the old guy who sucked.
Yeah, but in terms of like,
Winning.
they get more money to win,
Yeah.
and TV contracts are better if you're good,
If you're winning, yeah.
right? So you make more money if you get rid of your bad guys, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
and like the league minimum, because they're a players union, right? Just like
Yeah.
in basketball, just like in football, there's a league minimum amount that they
Mhm.
have to be paid, and it's something ridiculous. It's like $400,000 a year. So it's like, or I think it might even be like $600,000 a year.
Jeez.
It's a lot.
It's a lot,
right?
yeah.
It's a lot of money. And so like, and especially in like if you're playing at league minimum in like New York City, like you're playing for like the Yankees,
Mhm.
it's like, that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of money still, but like compared to like other people in New York, not a lot, right?
Yeah.
But if you're like playing for like the St. Louis Cardinals or something like that
Yeah. 400,000.
in St. Louis, it's crazy.
Yeah,
Or like
it's
the
really
Kansas City, like
Uh-huh.
playing in Kansas City or and Minnesota. It's like,
Yeah. I was trying to think of other baseball names in small, middle America, but the Rockies. I don't know.
yeah, Denver's kind of expensive though.
Denver is. I was gonna say, Diamondbacks, but not lately. Not
No,
lately.
I should have
Arizona.
sent this to you. It's so ridiculous. I saw it came out on I took a screenshot of it actually. Here it is.
Arizona housing market.
So per most banks,
Mhm.
making $150,000 is considered lower middle class
Oh my goodness.
in California, Virginia, Washington, and Arizona.
No way.
Yep.
California, Virginia, Washington, Arizona. Not New York is not on that list.
Well, I'm sure that's low.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
You
okay.
know.
This is lower middle class.
Yeah.
In those states.
Am I actually boiling over there? I might be. I'm gonna
Sounded
go
like
check
it.
that real
Cool.
quick. Sorry.
Yep.
I apologize.
Good to go.
I'm back. It's gonna be a very interrupted podcast.
Yeah. At least we're helping here. Instead of editing on the back end.
True. Yeah.
Pause it here. Tell me about Space Marine, Warhammer Space Marine 2.
Well, so I think we mentioned that they were coming out with it a little
Yeah.
while ago, but
Closer to release date in a month, I believe, September 9th or something like that.
yeah, I
Rings
think
a bell?
September. Yeah, right around the 10th or something like that.
Mhm.
I watched one of my favorite video game YouTubers. He does playthroughs of video games and stuff
Yeah.
like that, right?
Early reviews and whatnot.
He got a review copy of the game.
That's good.
Was playing it with some friends, and yeah, it looks dope.
Mhm.
It looks gorgeous. First of all, the customization is out of this world. Like you can customize every individual piece of armor
Nice.
to be a different color and have different symbols on them and whatever.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And so it's like really, really cool. Yeah,
It's exciting to hear. You always got to wait for this stage of like a game's release when advanced copies go out. Then you're actually seeing real
Yeah.
gameplay. You're having real people review and not just like, oh, critics say this game is amazing.
yeah.
Or the own company bragging about, we think our game is amazing. Like,
Is
yeah,
it though?
But what is it? We need to see your game.
Yeah, yeah. So I was looking at this game. I watched the entire 40-minute video.
Wow, it's a lot of gameplay.
Yeah,
It's cool.
yeah. I think they let them have like 2 missions or something like that
Nice,
to do. So 20 minutes a mission,
Mhm.
give or take. Plus, there's some editing in there and
But
stuff
then
like
all
that.
the customization
Yeah.
was everything they could show off.
Yeah. So it looks so sick. And like some of the abilities and like some of the melee kills, it's not just like a chink melee kill.
Yeah.
So it's a third person one.
Third
right?
person.
It's third
You
person.
get a chainsword, right?
So there's a bunch of different weapons you can choose.
Oh, okay. The early footage was only showing the chainswords.
So one of the guys, he was playing as the heavy gunner.
Yeah.
So he had a big old like basically auto grenade launcher. It looked like,
Mhm.
right? And he didn't have a melee weapon. What he would do is he would use the gun as a melee weapon
Nice.
and just like, and he didn't use any ammo, but you'd like melee attack and just like barrel stuff and throw it and like shoot.
Nice.
Or
Melee.
like if you're like depending on like what the situation where the enemy is, sometimes he would just like stomp on them,
Oh, that's good.
or like one of them he like grabbed the head and like flung it across like a wall into like a wall. And it was like a Tyranid that he was fighting or something like that. It looks dope.
All right, so they got dynamic animations.
Yeah. The guns all have like physics on them,
Mhm.
and so like the barrels on the minigun are rotating,
Yeah.
and like the bullet hose that feeds the bullets from your bullet backpack
You
is
can
like
see.
moving and stuff like that.
Yeah.
With like how you're it looks pretty sick.
Looks pretty good. It's a 4-player co-op, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They had 4.
I think initially there were concerns if it was only 3.
I believe it was.
4.
I believe it's 4.
Okay. And then I think there's like different classes you can pick. I remember seeing some of
Yeah. He went over them really briefly.
that. Yeah. The
Sniper, gunner, medic, like the standard classes, and then
standard
like 1
ones.
or 2 like Warhammer specialty ones where it's like heavy melee or something like that.
cool. All right.
I'm pretty sure that's what one.
Is there any
was.
one of them with like a jump pack? Maybe not quite.
I don't realize. I don't
Yeah, they had
remember.
to balance that. Maybe it's not revealed yet.
Yeah, but it looks like. I mean, it looks sick.
Yeah.
It looks sick because you're not the only Space Marines in the game.
Yeah.
Like you can see other Space Marines off in the distance fighting
doing
Tyranids.
battles.
It's just, you can't interact with them.
Yeah.
At least not that I saw.
But
But
you are just like one character in the universe of just Warhammer.
and like in the view of in like the distance, you can see like big old like stationary guns like blasting into Tyranid hordes
Yeah.
or whatever.
It's just a whole planetary invasion, and you're
Yeah.
trying to defend.
Yeah. So it looks sick. I'll probably try to get all of us to get it to play.
Yeah, it sounds like some fun weekends for sure.
Yeah. And like it's probably do you know what the price is coming out at?
I heard 50.
That's not egregious.
No, if it's a big enough game, it's got a lot of content. That's fine for a non AAA game.
Yeah.
So
Let's see. Remnant 2 was 40.
yeah, 40.
Pal World was
30.
Helldivers is 30 or 40.
I think it's 40.
Yeah.
But it's already been on sale a couple times, which is nice.
Yeah, so 50 might not be egregious for
Oh, yeah.
especially for like if it was like a random game that just looked sick.
Yeah.
50 might be too much, but with like the Warhammer title,
Yeah, you get the
it's-
Warhammer IP on there.
yeah, that's probably worth a certain amount of money, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have to wait for like official,
Sure.
people actually buying the game and reviewing it and stuff like
No
that.
pre-orders.
No pre-orders,
We don't do pre-orders.
but so we'll see how it. We'll see. I'll probably get it even just to play single player. It looks dope.
That's cool.
So.
I'm still. Maybe I'll wait till it comes out because I'm still kind of hopeful that there's some Thousand Suns in there. There's the Chaos Space Marines. The ones I like so because there were like rumors and like leaked screenshots like they were in the background or something. So
that you'd be fighting against them or something.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that?
or maybe they're related to the story at least somehow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be cool.
I think if this game is good and they already have a co-op version of it, I think back to like almost like a Left 4 Dead style multiplayer.
Yeah.
Where you can do, or like Mass Effect 3 had a really good multiplayer since that's another third-person shooter. You can do like kind of an arcade mode for your like multiplayer co-op, where you have different from the main campaign, but pretty similar. You've got all the customization, the different classes, and then your enemy, other players, can be an enemy faction that's got different customization, different classes.
Yeah, that would be cool.
You can play as the Tyranids, you can play Chaos Space Marines.
That would be sick if they were going to come out with that.
Yeah, find some good co-op.
I'd love this to turn into like a live service thing where they do start increasing.
Mass Effect 3 had just like an infinitely replayable multiplayer because of that. Gears of War 3 had a really good one as well. Similar third-person shooter, so it's like one team is like the normal human guys, and then the other one you get to play as the aliens that you killed in the whole campaign. Yeah. But you're like, oh man, I want to pick him because he's got the cool alien shotgun that I like.
It's kind of like when Halo 3, when you become the Arbiter.
Yes, yeah.
It's like that's the first time you play
as him in the
Covenant, and it's like, oh, what
with Master Chief? Like you have one Arbiter level, like in Halo 2, I think 1 or 2 levels. And you're like, oh, this is kind of cool. I get an energy sword and the Covenant weapons, but you're like, you're with the Marines, and you just like have the Covenant weapons. You're like, I'm the Arbiter.
Yeah,
cool. So I think there's a lot of potential there. If the shell of the game is good, Space Marine.
I mean, so far it looks okay, right? So and that's what this guy's opinion was. He's like, they only let us play 2 levels. They didn't let us like bug test it or anything like that, right? So it's like, but on the surface of like what he's played, he's like, this is a definite buy.
It's fun.
So yeah,
that's cool. I'm
excited for that, to be honest.
Give it a month. We'll see.
We'll see. Hopefully it's good. Speaking of good video games,
great video games,
and their movies that have come out because of them,
and video game adaptations, we love talking about.
Oh yeah, we trash on. We pretty much trash on any video game adaptation. Have we given like an A+ to any video game adaptation?
I'm trying to think. Like the Fallout TV show. Did you end up watching that?
I did not.
You never played the Fallout games.
I did not.
But the Fallout TV show was all right.
Would you give it an A?
A-. It had some weird quirks, but nothing Fallout related.
B+ at minimum, though.
Yeah, it was just had some weird things with the story. The last episode was just.
Gotcha.
But
okay.
I'm trying to. There have been
Halo. We gave a D-.
Oh yeah.
If not an F.
There have been some decent video game adaptations, but not like
Mario. The movie
Mario movie was good. Arcane, the League of Legends anime.
That's an A+.
Again, that was like, I mean, technically you just had a fantastic story, and it happened to be a video game adaptation.
That's okay.
But yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, I give that one an A+ for sure.
And you didn't need to play the video game or anything for that. So
nope. Yeah, that's
so yeah. There are some good ones. They're getting a little more common. Borderlands, the movie, came out. This was opening weekend, so we'll be some of the first YouTube reviewers to talk about it. Maybe.
Probably not.
Probably not. In my conclusive review, Do not watch it.
Really? It's that bad?
It's so bad. It was abysmal. I was
Abysmal.
Yeah, I was trying to hide it the whole time I mentioned, like, oh yeah, Borderlands. I forgot I saw that yesterday. We're going to talk about that on the podcast.
Yikes.
It's bad. It's very bad. I don't even think it's a good movie. I don't even think it's
Really?
I don't even think it's like a good Borderlands tribute.
Really?
Because the more like I think back on it, like they had Claptrap. He's the little robot guy from Borderlands.
He was voiced by
Jack Black.
Jack Black.
He's not voiced by him in the games, but Jack Black did a fine job. There were fine things about the movie. Like, it looked like the games. The planet you play on is called Pandora. It's just a generic, crappy, like, desert planet. It looked fine. It had some of the monsters. Some of them were just in the background, though, so I was like, I don't love that. Some of the guns looked cool. They looked like they were in the games, but to counter that point, they didn't really show off enough of the guns.
Oh.
It's kind of the whole point of Borderlands, that they sold it as like the guns are just wacky and cool and fun, and the designs are really unique.
Like the gun that screams at you when you shoot it?
Yeah, or the gun that shoots other guns, like stuff like that, and they didn't really do any...
What's the one that you reload it by throwing the gun and it's a grenade?
Yeah, there's a whole brand of those.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
ones. I mean, the main character, she had the Vladoff is the brand, but the Infinity is the name of the gun. So it's a pistol and it just has two barrels. That just
That's right.
You never have to reload. That's why it's the Infinity. So I mean, and one of the characters calls it out, like, "Oh, the Vladoff Infinity." Like, oh, okay, cool. Like, but it was just not. So those are the things I like. Some of the guns look cool, and some of the set looked cool. I think everything from here on out is all complaints or critiques. Never have I watched a movie before and really understood when people say, like, this movie, these characters are kind of miscast. But I watched this movie and I was like, this was a miscast.
Well, so I haven't seen the movie.
Yeah.
I've seen the trailer, and I immediately thought that when I saw most of the cast.
I've heard people say that, and critics like, "Oh, the movie was miscast." I've never really like understood that before. But
I just don't think Kevin Hart fits in that universe.
No, and
is it Jodie Foster?
No, Kate Blanchett.
I don't feel like she does either.
No, not at all.
It's like
she was bad. Kevin Hart was meh.
I mean, he's a fine actor, so it probably made up for it. But still, in my opinion,
he didn't do anything crazy. They have Krieg, who's the psycho in the game, so like he doesn't really talk all that much anyway, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So like his acting was fine. They have Tiny Tina, who's like, she's a child actor, so like whatever. I think she's 16. I don't have any complaints about that. She was okay.
Who played Krieg?
Some like German actor, actually.
Oh, nice.
So like they actually, I don't know if he was the same voice actor as in the games, but he was relatively unknown. Some of the voice lines were the same as in games, so I was like, aha, that's a reference. That did okay there.
Sure.
I guess that was one more positive. Krieg's lines were fine. Totally changed.
All 7 of them.
Yeah. Totally changed the storylines of all the characters, so even like saying the same names doesn't really make any sense. Story's totally different.
Because why wouldn't it be, Trevor?
Well, yeah.
You have a wonderful world that has some pretty good ideas, and then, why don't you just make something else up?
Well, and speaking of miscast, they had to change the story because Kate Blanchett looks like a 60-year-old woman, and you want her to be the protagonist.
Isn't she a 60-year-old woman?
Yes.
Yeah.
You want her to be the protagonist femme fatale of your action movie, and nobody wants to see that.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
My wife and I, halfway through the movie, started making jokes anytime she was in the action scenes, which were very obviously her stunt women. Like, oh, whoa, watch it. Oh, she just fell. She's going to break her hip. Like, started making jokes about that because it just looked weird. They meet Jamie Lee Curtis, who's another famous actress, and she looks like she's about 70.
I think she probably is.
And in her first scene, they got cleavage down to here, and I'm like, nobody wants to see that. I'm not trying to be like a chauvinistic pig or whatever, but there's zero sex appeal in this movie. Zero. And Borderlands, to its point, is always kind of wacky, over the top, zany. They're kind of edgy humor. They do a lot of sexual innuendo jokes. And some of the comedy is very like edgy, I think is the best way. There wasn't really any of that. Not even again, like not even with the femme fatale female character archetypes. They had Moxie, who's like the bartender. Again, cleavage on her, but she is full of sexual innuendos in the game.
Yeah.
That's her whole shtick, and there's none of that here. Her character didn't even make any sense here. Very irrelevant to anything. I thought that would have been okay if she had some funny jokes, but no, nothing. I think the PG-13 rating kind of held them back. They should have done R.
Gotcha.
They should have done R because
Yeah.
they couldn't do jokes and they couldn't do violence at PG-13. There was one very particular scene where our main character, right, Kate Blanchett, 60 years old, has a sniper rifle, and she goes to shoot like a random raider. She's got the sights, and the scope looked like one of the scopes in game. I was like, oh, I recognize this, like the scope, like it could be the sniper rifle I use in game. And she's got the crosshairs over the dude's head. She like, you hear the trigger pull, and then like camera cuts to somewhere else, and then the camera cuts back to the scope, and then the guy just like falls over dead. And I was like, see, when I saw the scope, I was expecting like the nostalgia in my brain was like, oh, his head's gonna explode, like because that's what it does in game. Like you got the crosshairs, and it didn't do that. So I pointed that out immediately to my wife. I was like, I was expecting his head to explode there, and it didn't, which was weird.
Yeah.
As a fan of the games, it was weird to have people just fall over dead when there's a lot of violence in that game. The antagonists were nothing. They were incompetent.
It's too bad because the game has like a really good story
Yeah.
and like reason for you to be there and like
Vault Hunters. No, she spends the whole movie saying she's not a Vault Hunter because again they had to change the entire story. And then she awakens to her powers at the end of the movie, and she's like the savior of the planet. And she opens the vault, and then they have a celebration and cheer and fireworks, and then that's the end of the movie. You're like, what? Doesn't make any sense. They didn't animate the boss. I think they ran out of budget. The inside the vault, every vault has like a guardian, but they just like they get inside the vault. They're like, oh look, treasure or whatever. It just looks like a bunch of rocks. And then the bad guy gets like attacked from off screen by the guardian of the vault because he's got a bunch of tentacles or whatever, and he just like pulls him off screen. And their main character is like, "See ya," and it's like, you didn't really explain anything about the vault or what it is or why. And then and everybody's just fireworks celebrating. This is the falling action and roll credits. Okay, like what? Yeah.
okay.
She awakens to her powers at the end, and she's a siren. She's got the phase power. She can teleport and do things like that. She didn't have that for the whole movie. She was just some random person until she goes to the vault and then gets her powers and then opens. Story didn't make any sense. The action was meh. There was no comedy. It was just a bad movie.
That's too bad.
Again, at the beginning, some of it looked okay, but that's not worth going to see a whole movie for.
No. Spend the $12.50 or whatever a ticket costs now.
We spent 11, but we were in a small town theater, so.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were up in Payson.
Yeah.
But still, it's like
$11 ticket, $6 popcorn. Like, not worth. No. Not even a good popcorn flick. It's just bad.
Ugh, that's too bad. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it was making me a little bit go like, I kind of want to go play the games again because they were funny and more fun than this movie. This movie was not fun.
Yeah, that's a big yikes.
They had like two kind of cringy jokes that was like supposed to be their edgy humor, and I was like, were those? I had to ask my wife after one of them. I was like, was that a premature ejaculation joke? And she's like, I think it was. Like, was that supposed to be funny? Like the characters on screen were laughing at Claptrap, who made the robot, right, made a joke about
come early or whatever.
He had a champagne bottle that popped too soon, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, it's premature. Sorry, that never happens," or whatever. And then they all laugh. That's the best they could come up with. That wasn't even that funny. Yeah. So
Overall,
in conclusion, don't watch Borderlands. That was bad.
you got to give it a grade.
Out of 10.
Yeah,
Or
either out of 10 or I kind of like the grading scale.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, out of 10. Same thing at the end of the day.
It's definitely not worth a watch. And for me, a 7 is worth a watch. People say 5 is average, and that might be true. But again, I don't. I think there's too many 7 and aboves to waste your time on 5s in this day and age. We have decades of cinema.
It's a fair point.
It's like a 3.
Oh, so it's way bad.
Yeah, it's not worth a watch. And there was nothing in it. If you're a Borderlands fan,
Yeah, I mean, I've played all the games,
if
and it's like I still might not go see it.
There were a couple funny references. Again, that was it. Like,
you need to you need to have the references, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're gonna make a Borderlands movie, you need to reference Borderlands.
Yeah.
But like, let's make it at least like cohesive with the story in the games.
Yeah, my wife kept saying the whole time, because she's played a couple of the games, but I don't think she's played any of them all the way through, except for maybe number 1. The whole time she was saying, she's just like, and she's really good about this in books and movies and stuff. She's like, why are the characters doing what they're doing?
Yeah,
it makes 0 sense. They're just wandering around. They all happen to be together. She said that several times as we were watching, just like, what? Why are they here? What is their motivation?
Yeah.
So she's kind of turned me on to catching that, like, because I'm just like, oh, yeah, these are the characters from the games. Like, yeah, they got to get together, but like, it doesn't make any sense why the main character, from her point of view, why does she join up with Kevin Hart's character and Tiny Tina? Like, why is she still there? And to meet other characters, why does the other characters just come along with them? Like, for Claptrap, they literally said, they were like, I'm programmed to be with you, main character. You're like, that is a very poor excuse, very poor writing. I mean, I'll be with you until you die.
You get even more information than that in the games.
Yeah.
You like find Claptrap, like you spawn in, like, or not spawn in, I guess, but like
you show up.
Show up, and then there's like a dead derpy robot. And you like put him back together, and then he's like, I owe you my life.
Yeah, or he's like, oh, I'm helpful. I'll guide you to yeah. He's a helpful NPC.
Yeah,
in all the games.
And like, he's not even there all the time.
No, yeah.
Like, after a while, he just kind of like sticks around his own little, or like he like gets stolen at one point, or like abducted or whatever.
He's usually in the tutorial at the very least.
Yeah,
all the games, and you get some funny jokes, but
yeah,
it's not.
That's too bad.
Yeah. Not even great action.
Another strike for video game adaptations, which is unfortunate because they need all of the hits they can get.
Yes. Yeah. It's gonna. The critics are gonna tear this one apart.
The real critics.
The real critics,
right? Not the fake critics.
Correct. Yeah. The real critics. I think even the fake critics might tear it apart, because again, there was no anything there.
Really?
Yeah. Even if, like,
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know it was coming out this weekend.
I'd seen plenty of trailers, and then I kind of forgot until like 2 days ago. I was like, oh, I guess this is opening weekend.
It's only their ad campaign was nothing compared to.
It's only 2 weekends after Deadpool, I think. So that's.
And
I'm sure Deadpool's still going to beat them in the theaters.
Oh, Deadpool's on his way to making $1 billion.
Yeah.
By like a significant amount. Yeah, I don't think, based off that review, and the fact that they didn't do any marketing.
Yeah.
For like the release date, like they released the trailers and like 3 months ago, or something like that, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, this is coming out this date," and then like I haven't heard a single thing about it since then.
Nope. Yeah, you might see some things on YouTube this week again from like reviewers.
Yeah, but like that's post opening weekend, which is like the point of a movie is to go on opening weekend.
Opening weekend, you get.
That's how movie theaters make their. That's how movie studios make their money, is opening weekend and the like first week of movies.
Yeah,
and
it always
from there
goes down. Yeah.
Because that's what the revenue split of movies theaters are.
Yeah.
Is the first week is like only 10% of ticket sales go to the movie theater itself. The other 90% goes to
the studio.
And then from there, it's like a tiered, like until like, week 4, it's like 50%, 50%.
Sure.
Like,
So it's like, if a theater can keep selling seats, they start making more money.
Yeah, which is
nice.
why Endgame was like a 4-month movie
Yeah, that's right.
because it was still filling theaters,
Still filling theaters.
maybe not 4 months, but like probably 2.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that was an interesting phenomenon.
It was like it literally stayed in theaters for like 2 months.
Yeah.
Which like most movies don't do that.
No.
Most movies get like 2, 3, 4 weeks.
Yeah, 2
Max.
months is like a high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's because these movie theaters were making bank off of this movie because they were selling tons of tickets to it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't cost them anything else anymore.
Yeah,
So,
they've already paid for the rights to air the movie,
Yeah.
so they're good.
So, yeah.
Yep. Not worth.
That's unfortunate.
No.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
I heard, and this is not an excuse, but I heard rumors that the movie was supposed to come out a couple years ago, like 2021 or 22, and they had to do a lot of reshoots. And so I find it hard to believe that this was the like most cohesive form of the story of the plot because it was bad. So I don't know. Would that original 2021 Borderlands movie have been better? Maybe that one would have been R-rated, and then I think it would have been better because
That's a good question. Like, I wonder why they didn't do an R rating because like
they got away with swearing. Like they still did a decent amount of swearing in the PG-13 one.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, they just could not do any violence or any sexual jokes.
because my thought is like if this were a Mario movie or a Fortnite movie where the audiences, like for Fortnite, for example, the audiences are going to be younger.
Yeah. On average,
Like
13.
Yeah,
sense.
you're going to like, yeah, so PG-13 is like fine.
Borderlands is an M-rated
Borderlands
video game.
It's an M-rated video game, and it's also like 15 years old.
Yeah, very true. Yep.
And so like if you played it as a 15-year-old, you're now 30.
Mm-hmm.
Give or take, obviously,
Yeah.
right?
I probably played the first one when I was 10 or 11, which was younger than I should have if it's a 17-plus game, but the point stands.
Nonetheless,
I'm
right?
26 now. I can handle an R-rated movie.
Yeah, and so it's like your audience that loved that game growing up and still love that game.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
And for the
it sounds fun to go play right now, and I've
Yeah.
done them. You know, they're good games.
Because of the comedy and because of the art style and just the vibe, the atmosphere being in that world.
Yep.
They didn't capture that at all. So it was just watered down from all of
And they should have made it. I think you're right. They should have made it a rated R movie so that you capture the main majority. Like you're not going to use this to like convince other people to go buy this old game unless they're coming out with a new Borderlands
unless they're
soon.
coming out with Borderlands 4. I haven't heard anything about that, so
Be kind of sick if it did.
I would play it. Borderlands 3 story-wise was a bit of a letdown, but the gunplay was the best it had ever been. So even if the story suffered a little bit more,
Did you like 2 or 1 more?
2 had a much more convincing story.
That's what I thought as well.
The nostalgia just has me on 1.
Oh,
that's all.
Yeah, I'm a fan of 2.
Yeah, the 2 was fantastic. I think that probably is indisputable. The peak.
The prequel was okay.
Again, the guns were really good in the pre-sequel. Was the
that's what
joke of the title?
Yeah.
But this story, I think, also kind of suffered, but not as bad as 3 though.
Yeah.
3 was pretty rough. 2, like that antagonist, I think is probably one of the best antagonists in any like piece of media.
Yeah.
Very well written. The whole game, you were just like chasing down his like backstory, basically his descent into villainy.
Yeah.
Super villain. So it was good games. I could go replay those.
Yeah.
It's been a few years.
I bought them at the start of COVID.
Oh yeah, nice.
I had played 1 or 2 with Caleb previously on Xbox, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I bought them and played through them. Caleb and I played 1 and 2 together, I think, and then I played the pre-sequel and 3 by myself.
It's probably been a couple years. I remember I
actually don't know if I finished 3, to be honest.
I did kind of a speed run through 1 and 2 a while ago, just as fast as I could go through, just solo.
Sure.
Which is pretty fun. And then I don't think I did that on 3, but I played 3 when it came out a good amount. So
sure. Well, speaking of video games, so I don't know if you're aware of this, but 2 of the most popular games in the world are first-person competitive shooters. Counter-Strike 2, and Valorant.
Yes, Right.
And those are two very, very popular games,
Very.
both on playing, streaming,
Competitive
scenes.
tournaments.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of cross-play between them as well, right? So
Sure.
like a lot of CS players will go and play Valorant, and
Or yeah, even viewers will watch
Mhm.
both.
Yeah. I've tried so I played Counter-Strike, a decent amount. I've got, I mean, a decent amount for a casual gamer, right?
Yeah.
Like I think I've got 700 hours on it.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Not like I have more on Smite still,
Yeah.
but I think I've got around 700 hours on it. Since 2019 when I started playing it, 2020, whatever. Anyway, I tried Valorant. I didn't catch the bug. I hopped on it early, and so it kind of just felt like a crappy version of Counter-Strike to me.
Sure.
And I was like, and like it was annoying trying to have to like relearn the spray patterns of the guns and stuff like that. And I was like, I'm not like, it's not as fun. If this was for me, right? And like the abilities were like, okay, this is like kind of a gimmick.
I never played Valorant, but my little brother had a pretty similar review to what you just said because he was also pretty good at Counter-Strike. Again, I don't to compare to you, probably at least at your level.
He's probably better,
maybe
because
more competitive.
Gamer family.
Yeah,
right?
well, and he did play like practice a decent amount with his crew.
Yeah,
doing the ranked matches, but yeah, he played Valor and he was just I remember getting like so salty because he used to sit next to me playing it. He'd get so salty about it. It was the same thing, like the spray patterns are different and all that, and he was like, oh yeah, that's cool, you got this broken ability that just like makes my gun irrelevant. Okay,
yeah,
cool. Like, so it is competitive, but then you also get special abilities like an RPG, so it feels it's an interesting mix. But
yeah, like my
I don't hate it, but
no, by any means. And like I understand how people like it, you know, like a shooter with abilities is always cool, right?
Fun.
And and they've I think they've done a good job of of promoting the game. And I think at first I do think that the abilities made a unique combination of things that could happen, but they weren't like overpowered.
Sure, yeah.
But I think I've been watching a little bit of it, and now I think like a lot of the abilities of the new characters are like, okay, you can't play like an original character because you're just going to get stomped on.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay. But there's a new game that's coming out soon,
brand new,
in that same genre of game. So there's a streamer. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of him. His name is Shroud. He's one of the top streamers ever.
Number 2 or
he's I mean, he was number 1, and then he's been up in the top 10 for forever. Like 30K people per stream.
It's impressive.
Which is like crazy, And he's mostly plays shooters. He plays some, World of Warcraft and Diablo 4 and other
popular games.
Yeah, he's a variety gamer that focuses on shooters.
There you go.
Right.
So something else popular in the zeitgeist, he'll pop in.
He'll play anything, right? But he got his fame because he was like one of the best Counter-Strike players ever, and he was not a founding person of like video game competition, but like his era was really kind of when like Counter-Strike competitive stuff really kind of got big.
Sure, yeah.
And so most people know him from that. And he still plays. He was playing professional Counter-Strike, and then he actually retired, and then was streaming, and then he played a little bit of professional Valorant, and anyway, so he, because of his connections in the gaming world, has partnered with a game studio to develop a new shooter, the new 5v5. What is that? Co-op shooter? Not co-op. Team shooter.
Team shooter, I guess.
Yeah. And it's called Spectre Divide. And it looks. I don't know if you've seen any of the ads for it.
I heard the name when you brought it up. I was like, oh yeah, Spectre Divide, but I haven't really seen much about it.
Yeah. So it looks very similar to Valorant. In my opinion, it looks better, but just because Valorant looks a little bit cartoony. This one looks a
yeah.
little bit more artistically cartoony.
Okay,
It's hard to
okay.
explain. I think it looks good in my opinion.
Mhm.
But so it's, you got guns, you got flash grenades, you got all the stuff, right?
Military based shooter, military equipment. Yeah.
But the thing that's cool is you can plant a specter of yourself
Okay.
at one location, and you can switch between those two bodies
Sure.
at instant speed.
All right.
And so I've been watching some gameplay, and early on, people just use it as a second life, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They'll go drop the other specter behind like a box,
You just hide
and then
them.
like swing out on someone, they get killed, and they're like, oh, well, now I know where he is at, and then go swing again,
Okay.
So it's like, okay, that's fine. But that's just like a second life, right? That's just Call of Duty at that point, you know?
Yeah.
But the cool part is where you can, by yourself, hold multiple angles on one site.
Yeah.
And so I saw something really cool where the guy peeked out and shot at the enemy, went back and stayed alive, went behind cover again.
Mm-hmm.
The enemy, he could hear them move, came around that corner and around out of cover from another angle.
Yeah.
He switched, shot one of them. The other one ran behind cover again, which gave him opportunity to peek out with the other guy.
Swap back to the first.
Swap to the other guy and shoot that guy again. And I was like, oh, that's sick.
You can cover yourself.
Well, and the other thing that's cool is that on the defender's side, right, or even on attackers, it's a little bit more difficult, it looks like, but you could probably figure it out, is on the defender side, you plant your specter on one site, you go cover a different site, your teammate that's on the other site says, hey, they're here, and you just...
That's cool, yeah.
And then, oh, wait, it was a false rotation.
They're at the other one, yeah.
So it's like, that's pretty cool.
Oh, that's a clever idea, yeah.
So I'm hoping it's a free-to-play game, just like Valorant and Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
And that they do it through microtransactions and cosmetics and things like that, make their money.
That's a good formula for that style of game.
I agree. And I mean, they make stupid amounts of money doing that, so
yeah, exactly.
Whatever, right?
Yeah, because that way anyone can just hop in and play casuals. And if people want to get competitive with the game, you can play competitive, you can buy cool microtransaction skins and all that.
Yeah. Have the legalized gambling.
That's right, yeah.
Except in Belgium and China. But yeah, it looks
fun.
sick.
I hope it does well for them. I hope it doesn't get like, oh, that's a neat gimmick, and then it just dies off.
Yeah, we'll see.
There's some substance there. It seems like it, but
yeah,
I'm a little sad. It was kind of reminding me of the shooter, but with portals. That game was a fun gimmick. Splitgate, but that one kind of died off.
Yeah, that one felt more like a. It didn't feel like
more like a Call of Duty.
Tactical shooter.
Yeah,
is what I think they're called, tactical shooters like Counter-Strike and Valorant.
That one was a arena shooter.
Yeah, it felt much more like Call of Duty or Halo Arena or Halo Arena. What is it? What is the 5v5 format in Halo called?
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about, though.
I think so. Arena shooters are where everyone's on the level playing field, though. There's no loadouts or anything, so it is just, you pop in, you get your guns and your upgrades and equipment or whatever on the field.
It did feel like that a little bit. I liked Splitgate.
I thought it was fun, but yeah, it just wasn't popular enough. So a little too gimmicky, maybe.
Yeah, it was a hard game to get good at.
Yeah, exactly.
There was a learning curve that was pretty steep. I think if there was more players playing the game, it probably would have been okay because you wouldn't be loading in with someone who's played 10 games.
Yeah, they could have advertised that a smidgen better.
Yeah,
get more people, but so this Spectre Divide.
Yeah, it definitely so far it looks like it's going on my to play list.
Yeah, does it already have a release date or it's just announced?
I don't know, to be honest. That's a good question.
If it's at least on Steam, you can save it.
Yeah, I'll have to look. All right, let me go do this. Sorry. All right, we're back. So
and we're back.
Anyway,
yeah,
I definitely think it's going to be on my list of games to
the watch list.
Yeah, I'll probably put it on my watch list. If it's free to play, I'm definitely going to play it.
Oh, absolutely.
Just to see. If it's paid, I don't know.
You have to wait and see the gameplay footage.
Gameplay and the price, because if it's I'll be honest, I play Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
It's free. I'm not Valorant. If I wanted to play a game that looks like it, is free.
It's free.
I'm not going to go play a non-free version of that game.
Yeah, it's kind of tough if you're trying to break into that market.
You know,
compared to
it
those.
kind of has to be free.
Yeah.
So it's like rough on
or
rough.
have more content, like extra game
Yeah.
modes or something. But those fans don't really need extra game
No.
modes. They play just for the competitive. So
Yeah, if there were a story on Counter-Strike, like how many people would play it more than one
a co-op
once?
campaign.
Yeah.
Or an arcade. Actually, an arcade mode I would probably play, but they had fun, wacky variants, or like
There are community maps that do that.
like
already.
a zombie mode.
Mm-hmm. There are community maps that do that.
Okay.
And you can do that with like buddies.
Yeah.
They're not like an official mode, but
if they give you the tools to like change the world around, they give you modding tools, which is nice.
it's pretty Counter-Strike at least is pretty open source.
Yeah, that's good. It's good to see.
So anyway, there it is on
There it
Counter
is.
or on not Counter-Strike, on Spectre Divide.
Spectre Divide.
And then
Let's talk about Magic the Gathering.
we got it.
Got
We
to.
got you.
You have created a new commander deck.
I have indeed.
As you've made several over the course of our channel here. We usually talk about leading up to it, and then we'll talk about the post game. So
Have we talked about this one leading up to it? Not
I
a
think
little bit.
so.
We mentioned it a little bit, but
Yeah, I feel like you mentioned when we were reviewing the Assassin's Creed cards, you were like, "Oh yeah, this guy's cool." Like,
yeah.
I got
But I don't think I said like, oh, I'm going to build this deck.
yeah, okay,
Yeah, maybe I did. I might have.
I think you did, because I remember we talked about the commander as well. Like, oh yeah, that commander.
Oh, that's right. We definitely did do
Yep.
that. Yeah. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So you've got the Templar Knights.
Yep.
You get 5 of them out, and then you go get any legendary artifact you want.
I do.
It's
And
not bad.
yeah,
It's not.
when it goes off, it's pretty good.
Yeah. You've definitely seen the weak spots of having a creature based deck as you've played 5 or 6 games.
Yeah, I think it's 6.
Especially for your specific combo, you need 5 of them. You need 5
Yeah.
creatures out.
Luckily, they're not expensive.
Yeah.
They're 2 mana for 3/1.
And you got 30 of them in your deck, so
I do. So it's like the problem is when there's like multiple board wipes, it really kind of sucks
yeah.
because it's like they don't have haste, and white, from what I know, doesn't have a ton of haste enablers.
Nope. You can get a couple colorless ones now, but
Yeah, like some of the artifact, like the equipments,
Mhm.
Swift of Boots, stuff like that.
you might consider a Crashing Drawbridge. Could actually be pretty good in that deck.
I know not this one.
It's like a 2 mana 0/4 wall.
Oh.
So he can't attack, but you can tap the drawbridge to give all your creatures haste.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Colorless?
Yeah, colorless. So if your drawbridge stays alive every turn after the turn you play him, you can just give every creature haste.
Yeah. I need to get him out the beginning of the game,
Yeah.
effectively.
Yeah, or
on-
after a board wipe, kind of maybe help you recover.
Yeah. Yeah. I did learn that Thrumming Stone is way OP in this deck.
Yeah.
Like, crazy good.
Like better than you think in any of the commander decks where you can have any number of a card. Because Thrumming Stone matters for duplicates. If you
Mhm.
find a card that has the same name, so
Mhm.
it's pretty good. And you didn't even like filter through the whole deck. There's like, unironically, like real commander decks where they'll run like 60 of the same card or 50, just to guarantee you Thrumming Stone, and then you guarantee you cast one, you reveal the top 4, you cast another, reveal the top 4, cast another, and you just go through your whole deck.
Yeah.
So last time you did it, you basically, your first go, you did like half your deck,
Mm-hmm.
more or less, before you whiffed.
And I whiffed, yeah.
And then you did it again like the turn after because nobody removed your
Mhm.
Thrumming Stone. I feel like you did probably the second half of your deck, give or take.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, and at that point, it was kind of just because it was for fun, because I didn't need it.
yeah.
Because I think you and Hanson were dead, and Caleb was like at like 10 life or something.
Yeah.
And he had something that did double damage to everything, and
You're like, oh, well, great.
so I needed to attack him with like 3 guys or something like that.
Yeah, well, let me see if I can get out, the rest of my deck. Might as well
Mhm.
see how it performs.
And what was the other thing I got out that I hard cast? That was my spells couldn't be countered.
Oh yeah.
and or creatures like cast couldn't be
it was
countered.
just spells.
And it had the is it discover or
Yeah, at the beginning of your end step, discover 5.
yeah,
So it's like Cascade.
and that was nice with the thrumming stone
Mm-hmm.
because it was a free cast.
Free cast on your end step.
You know, I got to choose one of the 5 things to cast. Right? No, it's you. It's
You flip until you hit a mana value 5 or less card.
That's right.
And then you cast that card or put it into your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a new one from the Ixalan, that artifact.
Oh.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was okay. It did okay. The thrumming stone is just like I will never not. If I am able to get it out, I'm getting it out.
Yeah. If you could get it out and then you have 1 to cast, 1 Templar Knight to cast.
Yeah, exactly.
Because otherwise, like with an empty hand, it's kind of a dead card. So, how'd you feel about card draw in mono white? So that's always a hard point.
Yeah, don't love it.
Yeah.
I was able to, because I played the land tax.
Yeah, that's true.
Filter through a decent amount of the lands.
Good.
And so when I drew a card, it usually wasn't a land. And then I also had a, at least in this one of these games, I have a way to discard a card and draw a card.
Oh yeah. In one of those games, I remember that.
What was that?
Chivalric Alliance.
Yep. Yeah, so I could discard a card. I think I had to pay 1, didn't I?
Yeah.
Pay 1, discard a card, and draw a card.
Yeah.
So like filters through some of the lands that I was getting with the land tax was nice. Put those into the graveyard. I have been mana screwed
a couple times. Yep.
A couple times, which is rough because like I don't want to add more land and take away from the other stuff in the deck because
take away the knights.
To be fair though, I think that, and this is something I've been thinking of, I think I have too many equipments in the deck.
Okay.
And I think that I need to find more utility legendary artifacts.
Your deck goes wide way more.
Yeah. And like there was like that one knight who was like a 12 or an 11/11 at one point.
Because of the equipments he had on, yeah.
So like that was good. But I think especially with the ones, what's the one I played that
the Caduceus staff?
No, that was the one that was good.
That was very good.
I then played another artifact.
Oh, the sword from the Lord of the Rings sets. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anduril, I think.
I think it was Anduril, where it gives your creatures 1/1 encounters when they're declared as attackers. But my guys are pre-declared as attackers before the equipment comes onto the battlefield.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like a non-bow.
Yeah.
In that situation,
you have to cast it normally, not cheating them out with their ability,
which is kind of rough. And if I had thought about it for 2 more seconds,
sure,
it might have been okay.
No deck is ever done being constructed.
Sure,
you can always go back to edits. So
yeah, so I think there's something to be said about trying to find better artifacts, and I honestly think I might try to find some like legendary artifact creatures that are either colorless or mono white colorless or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or white. Yeah, anyway,
white
that would be able to be in the deck, right?
Yeah.
Just because like some of the legendary artifact creatures are pretty good.
They're pretty good.
And I wasn't looking for those.
Even though they won't, be attacking, right?
No, but some of them have pretty good ETBs.
Yeah.
And like then I have a massive blocker usually because they're usually, like I know Hulking Metamorph couldn't go in the deck, but
something like
Colossus of Akros or something like that.
Yeah, a Blightsteel Colossus is the big
example. That one just
he's not legendary. Right? Your ability has to be legendary.
Legendary artifact creatures.
Okay.
Or I guess legendary artifacts.
Legendary artifacts.
Which would still work to get a legendary artifact creature out, right?
Totally. Yeah. Oh no. Those I just thought of a couple, but I'm like, they're technically 5 color, so
yeah. Oh, the
Ramos is a big legendary artifact dragon. But he's got 5 pips in his ability, so
yeah, I'll just have to go through my ninjutsu deck to be honest.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, find the big legendary artifact creatures.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got some refining to do, but how do you feel about your creation of the core of the deck? The idea, the
it's interesting because it doesn't feel like a commander deck because I just play one creature type.
Yeah.
Or one creature.
One creature.
I mean, there's a couple auxiliary ones that help out here and there,
Yeah.
Like the commander and stuff, but like it's fun because the deck doesn't revolve necessarily around having my commander out. He's more of an innate. He's good.
He's good.
He definitely is good.
He helps.
But like, I don't need him out to be able to do the attack.
Yep.
You know,
To function.
the deck is much better when he's out, but I feel like that's
Sure.
like an okay thing to have in a commander deck, where it's like, yeah, the commander is a good card for the deck, but if your deck can function without him, it's like, oh, okay, that's pretty okay.
Yeah, it's fun to build decks like that
Yeah.
sometimes.
And like, I didn't recast him the
I remember
second
one of
time he
those
died,
games.
you know, just because I was like, well, I have, you know, a limited amount of mana. I think it was mana screwed on that one.
I
So
spent
like,
my whole turn doing that. Nah.
it's like, yeah. And then like, if I have 5 of them out, I might as well swing and get a legendary artifact out. That's going to be, you know,
It's gonna be better anyway.
better. Yeah. So I don't know. What are your thoughts? Like, what do you think of the idea, the whole setup, how I've constructed it?
Sure. No, yeah, it seems fun. I think, like you said, obviously with the consistency, you're kind of getting you said it doesn't really feel like a commander deck.
Mhm.
Like, that's every game could feel similar because you are always getting out the same creature.
Yeah.
Like in any other Magic format. The whole point, you have 4 copies of each card, so there's some consistency there.
I have 30 copies of this one.
Yeah, 30 copies is a third of my deck.
Literally.
Right. Mono red aggro decks in 60 card formats are basically the same. You just have like 20 goblins that all do the same exact thing.
Each goblin gets +1/+1, and
Yeah. Oh, and this one, deals 3 damage or whatever.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of like aggro. So yeah, the consistency seems good. If you can fix the mana issues, which is tough in mono white, it seems fun in that it's consistent, but then still the commanderness, you still have the variability in picking which legendary artifact you want to go get out of your deck, so you can kind of tailor the state of the game. Yeah, you get what I'm trying to say. Pick what's the right formula, how do I win the game based on the state here that we're in. Or if you want to just mix things up, you're like, I want to go get this artifact this time.
Well, and that's what I've been doing, because most of the time
you're trying out new ones anyway.
Yeah, and like the first game I played with it, I got out like an Akroma's Memorial, because like that's a good artifact to get out.
Yeah.
Right. And it was pretty effective because,
flying, trample, indestructible,
protection from
black and red.
I think it's black and red.
You're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Bunch of random keywords for my creatures.
Like, this is great. And they all have vigilance anyway, so it's like, well, except they tap. So I think that's something I want to try and get, is something that like I can tap to untap all my creatures.
Oh, sure.
Just because it's good. They have vigilance, right? But if I have 5 of them, usually that's the only creature I have on the board.
Yeah.
It's 5 or 6 of them.
You use your big power move, you pull a legendary artifact,
and then I'm like wide open for three people to just like, oh, well, that hurt, or like, you have a Thrumming Stone out now, and like next turn's gonna suck for us.
So we're gonna kill you.
Good luck.
Yeah.
That
did appear to be a weakness as well. So maybe.
So I don't know.
Like you said, with legendary artifact creatures, you can look into that to have some good blockers.
Yeah, and so that's my thought, is like, okay, well, if I somehow get out, 5 of them by turn 3, which is technically possible.
Yeah. High average, but yeah.
Yeah,
possible.
but like, if I were able to do something like that, and then like turn 4 or 5, get out like the Thrumming Stone or something like that.
You're off to the races.
I'm off to the races at that point, or like even like get out like an Akroma's Memorial, right? Where it's not like, I mean, it's really good, but not like, oh, I'm gonna get like flood my board with 30.
Yeah, because it's not like an infinite tokens deck. You just need your 5 or so dudes.
Yeah.
And then just keep buffing them up.
Yeah. And if I were to do that and then get something that like, the second time I'm able to activate the ability, get like a big artifact creature out who's just like,
big
I am tank.
Yeah.
So I'll probably look at some of the artifact creatures, legendary artifact creatures. It's gonna be rough.
You're maybe inspiring me a little bit to build one of those. You can have any number of these cards in the deck. I'd do the mono red one, obviously.
What is the mono red one?
Dragon's Approach.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's not good on its own. It's 3 mana to deal 3 damage to either target opponent or each opponent. If it's each opponent, maybe. Target opponent, not great. But then if there's 4 more of them in your graveyard, so like on the 5th one you cast, you can go search your library for any dragon and put it into play. So
Dragons only deck
yeah, you do a bunch of big dragons in your deck,
and red ramp.
red ramp, and then you probably, instead of casting 5 in a row is bad, you probably want to, because red can discard, you want to chuck a lot of them into your graveyard.
Sure. And then cast the
And
3 mana one.
Yeah.
So then you have, that's actually good because then you paying 3 mana to deal 3 damage to either target or everyone.
Yeah.
And then
Get a giant dragon.
big dragon.
For free.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
3 mana, 7 mana dragon.
There's a good, I've already thought about it a little bit. There's a good red-white dragon who'd be a good commander for it.
Sure.
Even I think he does something with your instants and sorceries. Either you get a free cast of them, or that he gives them lifelink or something weird
Sure.
like that. So might be all right.
An instant and sorcery lifelink is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lightning bolt becomes way more OP.
It becomes lightning helix,
There you go.
which is a 2-mana red and white spell. It does that exactly.
That's funny.
3 damage to any target, and you gain 3. Yeah.
But then it would be do 3 damage, gain 6.
Yeah. Be
Very good.
Lightning helix.
Anyway, yeah, I like the deck. I need to play more of it, and I need to look. I'm
Totally.
probably gonna, throw in a couple different artifacts. I
You
think
played enough. You can do some small edits. You can already tell.
Yeah, I think I definitely think that I want more utility artifacts and not equipments.
Yeah.
Because every time I'm looking through, I'm like, oh, this is like a decent equipment, but like, not like in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I don't like.
Eh.
Yeah, exactly. It's very meh.
Like,
Meh.
This card does not bring me joy.
No.
So
But like a Chrome's Memorial, Thrumming Stone, the one that I had out that
the Caduceus staff.
the Caduceus staff is good as well.
Uh-huh. Oh, the no counter spells.
Yeah,
Stuff
whatever that
countered.
was called.
That I mentioned to you at the end of that game.
Yep.
I was like, I had 2 counter spells in my hand. You kind of foiled me there. So,
Yeah.
without knowing it, I think that's a sneakily good artifact.
Yeah, I don't know if there is one, but I'd like a card similar to like the green the gruel or green spells that like buff creatures of one certain type when they enter the battlefield.
Okay.
I don't think there is a white version of that though.
You might look at the Immortal Sun. Is one that'd be decent. It's like a 6-mana artifact. I can pull it up and show you, but it's I'm pretty sure I know it. It's 6 mana. I know the one weird effect is players can't activate loyalty abilities of planeswalkers.
Oh,
So
that's rough for
just,
Caleb.
again, kind of annoying when that happens. You're like, what? Yeah, I wasn't intending to counter your planeswalkers, but your creatures get +1/+1, and then I think your spells cost 1 less, and opponent spells cost 1 more.
Oh,
I think. 6 mana pumps your team a little bit, makes them easier to cast. You annoy your enemies, but you're getting it out for free anyway. So
it's true.
it's one I can think of off my head that you might consider if you're looking at pumping the whole team.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I might actually have it in there already, to be honest.
I hadn't seen it, but yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not. Yeah, I don't think I did because I probably would have played it last game. One of the games where Caleb was playing his Planeswalker deck.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Then I would be a dick and no, you're not.
Actually, no planeswalkers.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway,
No.
I need to figure out the mana aspect of it and stuff like that too. So
Cool.
we'll see.
You like the shell, and I think it.
Yeah, I do
performed
like
well
the
enough.
framework of it. So it's fun.
Cool.
Very single strategy, but
Yeah.
even more single strategy than Big Green Stompy.
Yeah, because it's
One of the same like
well, yeah, even more consistent.
yeah. Yeah.
Shall we end it with magic card of the day?
Yes, sir.
Got a funny one here for you. I don't think you've seen this one, but I own this one. I almost brought him over just to show off, but I have a picture instead. This is Uncle Istvan.
Uncle Istvan.
Uncle Istvan.
Is he supposed to be a knockoff Uncle Iroh?
No, I don't think so. This card's from like 30 years ago. Almost.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Magic's been out 31 years, so it's a very old card. Uncle Istvan. His creature type is Summon Uncle Istvan.
So his creature type is Uncle Istvan.
I think it used to be something goofy like creature types didn't even matter back then, but obviously he's just like a human now.
Sure.
But it was so old that it's just Summon Uncle Istvan.
That's hilarious.
They used to say things like summon a bird and summon dragon, and like old Magic cards were weird anyway. But he's not great, but I like him. I think his art's kind of cool. He's 1 black, 3 black pips, back in these days was like, that's uncastable. That card's garbage. Like, it's so hard to cast. Not that we really did much mana fixing back then anyway.
Sure.
But he's a 4 mana 1/3 human nothing.
Okay.
All damage done to Uncle Istvan by creatures is reduced to 0.
Oh, he's like the ultimate blocker.
Yeah, I mean, but that's it.
Why'd they make him a 1/4 then?
1/3.
Or 1/3? Why'd they make him a 1/3 then?
I don't know, because he dies to lightning bolt.
You would have died. Like my thought is to make him a 1/1.
Make him a 1/1 anyway, because then, yeah, I think because they thought 4 mana was like the minimum because this effect's too strong, and if he's going to be 4 mana, we might as well give him some more toughness
for whatever reason.
so he doesn't. So he survives board wipes a little bit better or something. The like 1 damage to all creatures.
Oh, sure.
Would wipe him. So yeah, his Uncle Istvan. His flavor text is. You remember when we used to have flavor text on cards?
Yeah.
Before the rules text took up the whole box. Yeah. Oh, it's called flavor text. It's a cool flavor. It's solitude drove the old hermit insane. Now he only keeps company with those he can catch.
Ooh, very nice.
He's got like a skull on his bloody axe. It's kind of
Ooh.
creepy old Uncle Istvan.
All damage done to Uncle Istvan by creatures is reduced to 0.
Just a cool, creepy old art.
Yeah.
I own him because I found him years ago, and I was like, this is a cool card. I don't know. This art speaks to me. It feels creepy, kind of metal.
Yeah.
Old Magic art used to be pretty metal, so
yeah.
just some random dude in the woods with a bloody axe and a skull hanging from it. You're like, that's my uncle? We all have an Uncle Istvan.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Obviously. So, this is my Magic card for the week.
Very nice. I like it.
Thank you.
I like it a lot. Very nice. Very nice. And, apologies for the continued interruptions while I attempted to make clementine marmalade.
Yeah, orange marmalade that
didn't work. We'll see what happens when it's cool.
We'll see.
But I'm not hopeful.
Failed attempt.
Oh well. It was worth a shot. Wasn't gonna eat them anyway, so just water and sugar was the rest of it. So
yeah, if anything, maybe you can just dump more sugar in it, make it taste better.
Maybe it's not a bad idea, to be honest.
Make anything taste better.
It's true. Alrighty, well, shall we?
Yeah, end it.
There it is.
Till next time. Thank you for watching this week's episode of the 5G Podcast.
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to see more.
And we'll see you next time.
Thanks.